Hi guys, so it is Friday newsletter time. I had a couple other things that I could have done, but to be honest with you, I've got so many emails and so many comments that when we started talking about doing tool reviews, I got several different comments that they'd like to see that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a heads up review, the Makita palm router against, you know, my favorite, the Dewalt DWP611. The Makita palm router is model number, I can't even memorize it, RT0701C is what this one is. And for you guys that are not in the United States, the model numbers, you guys probably know this already, the model numbers kind of vary a little bit. So the model number over in Europe or Australia may be a little bit different, but I think, to be honest, I think if it's even close, all of the palm routers for that specific brand are pretty much identical. So let's just jump right into this. First of all, these have both been modified the way we do our routers. This doesn't come with the with this plastic base. It just comes with a small round base. So we put our our router base plate on it, the same that you've seen me use for years on the little Dewalt. So and then the modification, this one again, like the Dewalt, it's not open in the back. Gosh, I forgot that little rubber thing. It actually is, it's all completely solid in the back side. So we drill a hole, and we've got several different videos on this. I'll put the link or the numbers to the videos for the modification where Dad did the modification on screen. I'll put those in the description. But basically, use the drill press, drill a 2-inch hole, and then cut this out. And that is for a couple different reasons. The first and biggest reason is to let light in from the back side. Because I tried it, and you might be able to get by with it if you don't modify it like this, but it certainly is not optimum as far as I'm concerned. The modification on this just makes it the whole routing experience better as far as I'm concerned. It lets light in and it lets the sawdust exhaust out. With this completely blocked in, then you've got the sawdust either can only go down or it can come right in your face, and there's no light on the back side. So that's where these two are similar, and these two actually have a lot of similarities. You know, the Dewalt I've been using for forever. For when I first started using it, I'd never seen anybody using palm routers for actually carving signs. Not to say that somebody hasn't tried that before I did, but I'd never seen it. But I've been doing this now, gosh, I must say it's probably 4, 5, 6 years I've been using the little palm routers to make routed signs. So, and these little Dewalts are very popular even on CNC machines, on all different kinds of things. I see them a lot. I actually, you guys know this is my favorite. It's what I started out with. But to be very honest, if I'd started out with the Makita, this might be my favorite because I've played around with it now for a day or two, and there's a lot of similarities, a few things that I want to touch on. But what I'm going to do is I've actually got a little Roadrunner laid out here. I'm going to do some carving on this Roadrunner with both of them, and you guys will kind of see, and with our new camera, I'm sure my wife will be able to get in probably closer than what we need. This new camera is, and thanks for all the great comments. Again, the sound isn't quite as quality as it was before because we can't use our shotgun mic with our little deadener on it like we could on the other camera. But we feel like the video part of it is much better. And based on our comments we've got, that seems to be the case. So anyway, so let's, if you can get in on that, babe, I'm going to fire up the routers. I'll take one at a time. So I've got the cutter set at, a little less than 1/4 of an inch. I eyeball it. You guys know the way I do it. I eyeball it. And I wanted everything to be pretty much identical. These are both my profile bits. And I'm going to carve the same piece in the same board. So I wanted to get really a very good scientific, so to speak, or as it scientific as I can get, on a really good comparison of the two. So I'll go ahead and like carve a part of this with the Dewalt, and we'll see what it looks like. So that's what I'm used to. It sounds like the bearings might be going out in this thing. I hear the bearings rattling a little bit. That's kind of what I'm used to. You get in okay on that, babe?
I hope so. I'm probably not up high enough, but the weight of this, I don't want to.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Now, here's one difference that is something that to me is a little bit of a drawback for me, and as compared to the Dewalt. If I take this base off on the Dewalt, and I take it off, because there are grooves on both sides of this, the router base itself, or the router housing, I can turn this base around and I can put it on both ways. Okay? That's kind of handy for me, especially for filming, because that way I don't have to have the cord pointed toward the camera. So it allows me just a little bit more flexibility for me from a filming standpoint. Now this one, you're only going to get that base on one way, and it's got the cam lock much like that, but rather than the cam lock, it's got rack and pinion. And I'm not sure whether I like it, honestly. I think if I probably had started with this rack and pinion rather than the threaded type of, I don't even know the correct name for it, but the threaded depth adjustment, basically, where you turn that and that adjusts the depth. I think if I had started with this rack and pinion, I probably would like it better. But right now it's just kind of awkward for me, because once that loosens up, that thing just falls down. It's just down. That in fact, when I was playing around with it last night, I was so used to it, to the old one or the Dewalt, that I actually poked a hole in my palm of my hand. Fortunately, it wasn't running, so I actually kind of poked a little pinhole in my palm, because I had my hand here, much like I do, and once this loosens up, that my hand went on there and drew a little blood, but no big deal. I'm okay. Anyway, so that little rack and pinion depth adjustment, it's a little awkward for me, but again, if I'd started with this, I probably would like it better, because it is very, very simple. So let's I need to adjust that a little bit, and I need to turn it around because the cord is in the way. I think that looks about right. All right, here we go. So to be honest with you, I really can't even tell the difference when I'm carving between this and the Dewalt. Now from a power standpoint, this is 6.5 amp, I think is, yeah, the Makita is 6.5 volts, not amps, volts, right? Yeah, no, it's amps, it's not volts. 6.5 amps, yeah, I don't know why I wrote volts. 6.5 volts, 7 volts. So this has got slightly more power, but to be honest, I can't tell you the difference. I am going to carve a piece of walnut here. So I want to, and for you guys that send your router bits in to get sharpened, just so you guys know, I always test your router bits after I sharpen them. I always test them in softwoods, the cedar, the pine, and a piece of walnut. As a matter of fact, I'll just do that now. I'll set that, get that piece of walnut. That was close. Woo. Glad that didn't break and shatter. This is the one I'm carving, by the way, our little Roadrunner layout template. So let's just make a test cut in this walnut here. I'm really messing with you, babe. I'm sorry. Kind of all over the place, huh?
It's all right. Okay.
Good. Smells. I like the cedar too, but walnut is just, it smells cool. So now the Dewalt. And you can hear the difference in sound from the RPM, guys. This is 7 amp, runs at a max, and I always run my routers at maximum speed, by the way. You guys that ask the questions, which I get quite often, if you've got a variable speed, what speed do you run at? I always run maximum speed. This one's got a maximum speed of 27,000 RPM, and this one's, I believe it said 30, if I remember right. I think it said 30 RPMs, 30,000 RPMs. So that's the difference in the sound. Tell just a little bit, but from a routing standpoint, I really can't tell any difference. Power wise, again, half an amp. Weight wise, the DWP is actually about 4 ounces, or yeah, about 4 ounces more than this. They're both less than 5 pounds. This is 411. This is 415. Now that's modified with my base plate on it because I went and actually, I didn't take that off of the internet or somewhere. I just went, actually put them on our scale and weighed them. So again, the power, I can't tell a difference between the two. Maneuverability, 5 ounces, not that big a deal. And you could see why there would be a 5 ounce difference. Even the top cap is a little bit smaller on the Makita. Now, bottom line, you can get this all day long on Amazon for 99 bucks. This one is about 123 on Amazon. Now, you know, I'm sure you can get all kinds of killer deals on them and different things. I know I've got DeWalt's before on sale down at Lowe's for 100 bucks. So, but I was just measuring, you know, apples to apples kind of thing. So you could get killer deals on both of these to the point where you might be able to find the DeWalt at the same price as the Makita, but generally it's going to be less, I'd say. One of the advantages of the DeWalt, it's not a big thing, but it does have the LED lights in the bottom side when you're routing, and this, of course, does not. The Makita does not have the lights, but in fact, for you, those of you that don't know, on the end there, you'll see 2 little lights come on. You should. You see them there? So that does help, and I know a lot of people have said that they really, really like that. For me, it's not that big a deal because I have to have plenty of light anyway. So I generally, that would never be enough light for me. I generally have to have some kind of supplemental light. In here, we've got the place flooded with light. But I generally would have to have supplemental light anyway. So that's not a game changer or a deal breaker for me one way or the other. You guys know that the 450, the Porter Cable 450 is in essence the same router as this, except the big difference is the 450 Porter Cable doesn't have those little LED lights. So for me, that's not that big a deal, but it is. For some people, it's a huge deal. So that, you know, may be the difference between whether you want a little bit more expensive one. But from a power standpoint, guys, I can't tell the difference between the two of these. Another advantage that this one that I talked about the other day, that if you do maintenance on your own routers, changing the brushes in this, piece of cake. I took this little cap out, the brush comes out, 30 seconds to change the brushes. So that is a huge advantage for this if you're going to do your own maintenance on them. It all depends on how much you use it, whether that makes sense to you, whether you want to change the brushes yourself. These, like I said the other day, I don't change the brushes in them. When they go bad, I pretty much toss them, which hardly ever happens that they go bad. I pretty much toss them and just get a new one. I think in the 5 years that I've been using these routers, I think I've only replaced one or two. They generally go several years before, and I've got multiple ones. So let's see, I can't think of anything else really glaring. Again, I give this little Makita router. I still don't think this is would be my favorite yet. The Dewalt still outshines it, but not by much. Again, if I started with this might be my favorite because it feels a little bit better in my hand when I hold it that way. This is a little bit bigger around, bigger diameter housing on it, and but I'm kind of impressed with this little Makita, I got to tell you. So let's see if there was any other, and I'm sure you guys will probably have some questions for me. Feel free to email me, let me know. But I think that's about it. I'm going to do this. Let me know how often you guys want to see this kind of thing, because I can do this with a lot of different stuff, but I don't want to get away from actually doing carving demos as well. So I can excuse me, I can fit these in maybe on a coffee and questions, or I can which we normally don't do those in here, but we can, or I can do them on Fridays for the newsletters. So, let me know. I'm probably, on the routers, on these Palm routers, I'm probably always going to do a heads up against the DeWalt until, something until I decide that something is going to overtake this as my favorite. But pretty impressive with this little Makita, especially for 99 bucks. Man, that's tough to beat. So again, if you have any questions, if you have any questions on the modifications, on the router bases, the router bits, have any questions at all, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. I think that is about it. We're going to make this short and sweet. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but you guys will let me know if I do. So thanks again for all the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe, share our videos. Check me out on Instagram, and we got some great things coming up. And keep the questions coming. We do coffee and questions 2 times a week, so keep those coming. And I guess we've only got another week or 2 until LTS at the end of the month. Last Saturday of the month is the LTS. I guess, gosh, is that it?
I think so.
Yeah, so tomorrow morning you guys will see Dad's Memory Lane on Saturday morning, and hope everybody has a great weekend. Thanks again, and we will see you soon. Don't forget, when you subscribe, click that little gear button, and you can check mark whether you want notifications from us when we post a new video, which is 4 times a week. So anyway, guys, that's it. Have a great weekend. Make some sawdust. I did, and I'm happy. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.